Welcome to PixelTunes Radio, a podcast where we have fun talking about video games and video game music. I am Mike.
And I'm Ed.
And we are here to tell you that this is a violent storm.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like a hurricane outside.
It's
not really a violent storm. So we're back with part 2 of our arcade extravaganza. Last week was Metamorphic Force, which was released by Konami in 1993. Today is Violent Storm, also released by Konami in 1993 in the arcades. And there's a lot of similarities between the two games, but there's a lot of differences too.
Definitely.
Of the two, I think even the soundtracks for these games are completely different, yet equally awesome.
Absolutely. You've got Metamorphic Force that has a very jazz fusion, prog rock, like Yngwie Malmsteen kind of like amalgamation.
I can go with that.
And with this soundtrack, it's got funk, it's got soul, it's got 90s
R&B.
new wave, or 90s New Jack Swing. You've got this
It's even got like Beach Boys and 50s rock. It's crazy.
It's crazy. The soundtrack is full of tons of variety, and all the tracks are great.
If the last episode was about like rockin' cool music, this is about fun music.
Yeah.
These songs are really energetic and enjoyable and like party music, basically.
Yeah. No, the songs put a smile on your face. So you'll listen to these tracks and you'll be like driving or sitting down, and you'll be like, I want to go driving.
So the game is a 3-player game, which is kind of weird for arcades. Usually you see 2 or 4. And it takes place, I guess, in a near-apocalyptic future.
Well, World War III has finished.
Yes.
So basically, it's there's a lot of games that came out in like the early 90s like this that were like I think of like Two Crude Dudes, those type of games where it's like you get this giant world war and then basically people are left to pick up the pieces.
Right. It borrows a lot from like Fist of the North Star, that kind of post-apocalyptic gangs roaming the streets kind of scenario.
Right. So it takes kind of that aspect of Two Crude Dudes and kind of merges it with Final Fight in a way. So this game is very Final Fight-ish.
Very Final Fight.
Yes,
and we'll talk about those similarities, definitely. So one day, while our protagonists, Boris, Wade, and Kyle, were out patrolling the streets, their friend Sheena popped up and she was doing some grocery shopping, and as she's crossing the street waving to our heroes
in a very like deadpan stare, like her eyes just look dead, and she's just like, hi.
Our main antagonist, Red Freddy, rides by on a motorcycle.
Who is not red
at all.
In fact, he looks like Blanca.
Yeah, he's green. Yeah. I don't even know. But anyway, so he drives off with Sheena, and our 3 heroes hop into their red convertible, and getting like Kung Fury vibes here. And they drive off after Red Freddy on his motorcycle and crash through some iron gates, and stage 1 begins. So your whole mission is to rescue Sheena. That's the whole reason you're fighting thousands and thousands of really hilarious looking bad guys.
Yeah, all the characters in this, as far as the bad guys go, are fairly generic for the most part. The basic guys, you've got your average street thug with a mohawk and a knife, but when you get more into the game and you start seeing like some of the bigger bosses, like the main boss in this, he kind of looks like something out of Splatterhouse. Yeah,
the boss characters, I mean, they have as much character as the guys in Undercover Cops do. They're very unique and very fun. Your main characters, Wade, Boris, and Kyle, are basically like your Cody, Guy, and Hagar. They're almost identical to them. So Wade is more like the balanced guy. He's wearing like a blue, Texas tuxedo. It's almost like all denim.
With like knee pads and shoulder pads.
Yeah, and so he's more the balanced guy. Boris is an identical clone of Hagar. He walks the same, his moves are the same, he's even got the jumping power slam just like Hagar does.
Except he's wearing like basketball shorts and like a wife beater.
Yeah, he looks like Duke Nukem.
Yeah. He's got this like short, cropped haircut. He's pretty wacky looking.
Yeah, and then there's Kyle, who's the quickest guy. He fights with kicks.
Very similar to Guy.
So yeah, he's very similar to Guy. He's more of like the martial arts kind of dude. He has rapid fire kicks that you could pull off, similar to Chun-Li from Street Fighter 2.
Right.
They are basically the guys that you'll be controlling throughout the game. So after you crash through the doors and get into the first level, you see that the whole environment is post-apocalyptic. There's buildings in the background that like start crashing down as you're walking by them. I guess they're decrepit. They're that precarious.
Destroyed, decrepit buildings.
Just a couple of steps will knock a building down. And there's always people in the background that are kind of cheering you on or like
trying to signal trains. I don't know.
Yeah, they're doing some weird stuff.
You've got one guy who looks like he's doing the motion for the train, like to get the train or the bus or whatever to honk. And the problem is that he's facing you, and the train is the opposite direction.
Maybe he's getting you to honk.
At what?
To just honk.
Like he wants you to go honk.
He's doing like the pull, like the the trucker pull the horn motion.
He wants you to go honk.
Maybe he's just cheering, and the animators were like 2 frames. That's all you get in the memory.
Yeah.
So
this is all you get, guy in the background.
You're just honking away.
The hardware was based on the Mystic Warriors beat 'em up, which was another great beat 'em up that was sort of somewhat based on Sunset Riders. So Konami kind of took this game in a different direction. Sprites, one of the first things you notice right off the bat is that the sprites are huge. So they're a lot bigger. I would say they're more in tune with Final Fight than Metamorphic Force, which is more in tune with X-Men.
Yeah, and they're all based... X-Men and Metamorphic Force and this game are all based on the Mystic Warriors hardware.
Right.
So it kind of gives you the idea, the versatility of the hardware, that while it's like a beat-em-up engine, you can really do a lot with it and create very different looking games. I mean, X-Men and Metamorphic Force are very similar in animation and art style.
Right.
But then Violent Storm looks very different from both of those.
Yeah, they seem to be very different. Playing them and enjoying them are 2 totally different experiences.
Yeah, this game has a ton of character.
Right.
There's a lot of little things in the background that if you're playing the game, you would probably never notice. But the nice thing about having YouTube and playthroughs or just watching a friend playthrough is you can look at the background and see all this different stuff that's going on.
Yep.
That kind of makes sense in the story. So for instance, as you fight through the first level, there's a little brown dog that walks by in front of one of the buildings, and he shows up couple more times throughout the game, and so you kind of like get this little dog story, even though he's just a little sprite that's in the background. Once you get into the train station, you see Red Freddy on his motorcycle in the background. He just kind of zips by with Sheena, so like you're going in the right direction.
Right.
And then as you get to the boss, you see him running across the background too, and he eventually gets to where you are. So why don't we get into the music, and then we'll talk a little about the boss and the music after we come back.
That sounds good. All right, welcome back. That was the first level's music from Violent Storm.
So if that doesn't give you a hint as to the quality of the music in this game, you'll understand why we're doing an entire podcast based on it.
That track is called Who'll Be the Hero, and it's kind of like an introductory track to kind of get you in the swing of things. The nice thing about this track is it's very 80s, and I love 80s music, so I'm okay with this.
Yes, I'm getting like Pointer Sisters.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's got like just really cool like saxophone and, you know, really great like synth hits in it. It's really good.
And the great part about it is the vocal samples. I mean, at this point, you know, there have been like vocal grunts and games and stuff, you know, like Undercover Cops, there's just some haze and woos and whatever.
Right.
But this is like, I think one of the first games that I know of anyway to actually use timed phrases and speech in games as lyrics, and it works really, really well.
Yeah, all the PCM samples in this music are like really strong sounding, and they are very, for the most part, pretty clear. Sometimes they get a little muffled during the music. Yeah,
that could be the emulation, or you know, I have no idea. But like I said last episode, you know, this system can sample at 48,000 hertz.
Right.
So it's pretty crazy. It's higher than CD quality. So I'm sure those samples would take up a lot of memory, and maybe they didn't sample at that high. But to have a system with that kind of capability, this just was unheard of in '93.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I really like this track. As far as the music, it has this really well-produced vibe to it. Like
it's got kind of a J-pop breakdown in there.
Yeah.
And then that really cool keyboard solo at the end.
Right.
It definitely keeps you fighting. I mean, after hearing this one, I just wanted to play through more of the game just so I could hear more of the music. It had that kind of deal to it, and I can understand, like, you know, if I had ever seen this in the arcades, I'd be, like, throwing quarters at my screen, because this is just so cool.
Not even like in the slot, just like, here, take all my money.
Hoping someone in the slot is like just throwing fistfuls of quarters at it.
Yeah, so the first boss that you fight...
He's gross.
He's gross, yeah. All the bosses, at least the first two bosses, have this like, I guess, horror movie atmosphere.
Yeah.
The first
They're all
boss,
kind of, I guess, post-apocalyptic mutants.
Yeah.
In a sense, I guess.
He's got like these pig ears and like, you know, pig kind of snout sort of thing.
Yeah, his name is Dable, and he bashes through the background, and he's got a big clubbed mace, or spiked mace. So he's got this bag over his head, and he's got kind of a weird face drawn on the bag, and as you fight, if you give him enough uppercuts, you can knock the bag off his head.
That's when you see his true form.
Well, it basically looks like what's drawn on the bag, except it's on his face. He's got spiked teeth, and it's really... Ugh.
He looks like either something out of Splatterhouse, or what was his name? Like Greedley from Captain Planet.
I didn't really watch that.
No, you didn't watch that? Too old for that. Yeah, it's kind of like that. I don't know.
Anywho, so after you beat the boss, you're at a train station, obviously, so the train with Sheena and Red Freddy on it is starting to leave. So you jump on the train, and you head off to level 2. And level 2 reminds me a lot of the Western stage from Turtles in Time.
Yes,
arcade. So
definitely.
You're playing on a train, you can see the background scrolling behind you, and the train's moving really fast.
It is, yeah. This is showing off the graphical prowess of the game. One thing that I paid attention to is the grass. You're passing, as the train is going, you're seeing the grass. So there's a lot of really cool parallax scrolling throughout this entire game. You see the grass element kind of going. You got birds flying in the background. You know, everything is kind of shifting with the train, and everything is staying on par with the frames per second that the game is kind of showcasing. So it's really very well done. The only thing I'll say that I don't like about the game is I think the pastels of the color are too bright, and it kind of washes out the graphics a little bit.
Yeah, again, you know, I'm not sure if that's just because it's emulation, or if
Possibly.
It's because that's the way the game was designed. Currently, as of this recording anyway, if you were to play this game in MAME, it does flash a warning on the screen that the graphics aren't 100% accurate. Now, I know there are some graphical glitches here and there that are easy to tell throughout the game. They don't affect gameplay at all, but it could be that they didn't get the palette correct. I'm not sure. Actually, you know, again, just like we talked about last episode with Metamorphic Force, if there's a Northeast arcade that has this game in it, I would love to know about it.
Yeah,
so
we'd love to
check
play
out the real thing.
Or get it up to Fun Spot. If you have a board for this game, or you have a cabinet and a board, or maybe anything like that, if you're listening, definitely get in contact with Fun Spot in New Hampshire. They're the world's largest arcade, and I'm sure they would love to have a machine like this donated to them for everybody to be able to enjoy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the second stage, yeah, I mean, like we've been saying, you're on a train, it's going. You've got a lot of wacky stuff going on in the background. You've got a homeless guy who's in chains.
There's several of them, actually.
Yeah.
There's like hobos in the background that are chained to the train, kind of cheering you as you're fighting.
Yeah, like one of them is just standing completely still, giving you the peace sign, and smiling, like grinning from ear to ear. It's so goofy.
And there's another guy that's like laying down, like, in like a weird.
And he falls out. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you throw a guy near him, then he falls off the train.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are lights that are kind of swinging overhead that are animated, and if you throw a guy near the light, you can break the light, and the whole screen flashes when the bulb breaks.
Right.
And then there's pigs just laying around with piglets, and if you pick up the piglets, they turn into footballs, which you can throw at your enemies.
So good.
And when you throw them, they bounce off the enemy, and then they bounce around kind of randomly on the ground. It's like these little touches that are just so fun to watch and like increase the playability of the game.
It gives the game a lot of character.
Yeah, and then finally you get to Joe at the end of the stage. He's like a demented ticket taker. And he's got this huge ticket puncher that's electrified, and it basically looks just like Scissor Man.
Oh, totally just like Scissor Man. I mean, without a doubt, like a grown-up Scissor Man. Because Scissor Man he's a boy
kid,
in the Clock Tower series, in the Clock Tower games, and so this is totally just like grown-up Scissor Man. Yeah,
so he'll try to get you with his hole puncher, and if you knock it out of his hands, he calls 2 minions in, and you have to fight them, kind of like Damned at the beginning of Final Fight.
Right.
Kind of jump in and out of the action while his minions come in. And once you finally beat him, he jumps onto the train, because the Red Freddy and Sheena are kind of like sitting off in the distance, and Red Freddy's taunting you while you're fighting Joe this whole time. So, and then stage 3 begins. But before we get into that, we obviously have to listen to the music, because the music rocks. So listen to stage 2, called On the Train.
Alright, welcome back. That track that we just listened to was from the second level which is called On the Train.
On the Train.
And you're just on the train, as we talked about before. The song is just totally straight up 50s.
And a very big departure from the first track.
Yeah, kind of like, I don't want to say doo-wop, but you were saying the twist.
Yeah, like, Big Bopper, Bobby Darin, like, basically, that early 50s American rock. They do it really, really well. They still manage to throw in a couple of those Konami orchestra hits.
Of course.
Here and there.
You have to.
But it's so much fun. It kind of almost reminds me of a lot of the rockabilly and punk stuff that you'd hear in Turtles in Time as well.
Right.
Because, the sound hardware is the same, so you get those same kind of sound channels and that vibe is all very similar. But yeah, I mean, it's just so much fun. The saxophone solo, where it approximates a saxophone.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's as real sounding as like the stuff from Metamorphic Force.
Yeah.
But it does a good job at telling you, okay, this is supposed to be a sax solo, and you can kind of go along with it.
Yeah, even though I'd say Metamorphic Force did a much better job of translating actual instruments into real life sounds, these songs kind of, I don't know, I would say they nailed a specific sound for the game, and made it so that there's a lot of variety despite the sound itself not really changing too much.
Right. And there's no intentional humor in Metamorphic Force.
That's true.
There's some humor, but it's not, like the boss dialogue and stuff, but it's not meant to be funny.
It's meant to be taken seriously, and you kind of can't because it's so over the top and ridiculous.
A lot of it's aged.
Right.
So you get that. But Violent Storm is meant to have some humor and some fun and some levity, so that really, really comes across in the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And so a song like this definitely brings that out. So even though you're fighting, you're just kind of rocking along with these 50s jams and having a lot of fun. Like we said, after you beat Joe, you get off the train and you end up in a city. And it's kind of like the inner city as you're heading towards where, Red Freddy is bringing Sheena. And so you're fighting through this downtown city street, which I guess reminds me the most of like the first level of Final Fight.
Yeah.
But it's much more populated. There's tons of people in the background, and they're all kind of looking at you and cheering you on. They're all disheveled and like either homeless or really poor.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like Mad Max, like all the people that are they don't have anything.
I would say it looks more like level, is it 3 in Final Fight? Where you're going through you see the restaurant in the background, and then you end up at the bar, like the restaurant bar atmosphere.
Yeah, that part does. Yeah,
that part.
Well, the bar is directly from Final Fight.
Right, like totally straight out of Final Fight.
Yeah.
And then it kind of works backwards, so it's like you're going into the bar, and you get there. But as far as the streets kind of came beforehand.
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of reversed.
So it's kind of reversed. Yeah.
The cool thing about the guys in the background that are watching was they don't duplicate the sprites at all.
Right,
There's like hundreds of them, and they're all totally unique. So there was one guy that was like, he sits on the ground and he's selling like electronics or something. He's on a carpet and he looks like a scarecrow basically.
Right.
There's a crow on his head.
Yeah.
And if you get too close to him, you knock the crow off his head, and then he starts like animating, like, oh my god, what's going on? And the crow like lands back on him and he stops again. It's really, really weird.
You'll hit right before you enter into the bar restaurant place.
It's called Sha-La-Las.
Right, and you're facing off against this guy that looks straight out of Road Warrior, like totally Mad Max.
Yeah. He's kind of like the mid-boss,
right?
In a sense.
Sort of, yeah. And there's just some random girl just cheering on in the background.
She holds a pizza. She's got a pizza.
Okay.
And if you get up close enough to her, you can grab the pizza, and then she starts cheering and animating after you grab the pizza. It's just these little details.
Yeah, it really keeps it fun, keeps it fresh to watch.
Yeah, when you get up to the bar, the door is open, and Red Freddy's peeking out of the bar. And if you get too close to the door, he laughs and he closes it, and then you've got to smash your way through after you finally beat all the enemies that are on the screen.
I like that you're never that far behind Red Freddy. Like it's funny because we can make such strong comparisons to Final Fight. If you think about it, Final Fight, Damned takes Jessica, and that's it. She's gone. Just like in Double Dragon, you never see her until the end. With this, you kind of always get to,
You're always 2 steps behind.
Right,
and he's kind of like taunting you the whole way.
And it's funny because of that. So it kind of gives that atmosphere that we've been talking about the humor in this game. It kind of continues it.
Yeah, you never forget your motivation.
Right, exactly. And I really like that about this game. Another thing I really like is that they include other elements from other Konami games. Like they kind of have a small cameo for Stinger or what is it? Not,
yeah, the Twin Bee guys?
Right, Twin Bee, yeah. So the Twin Bee guys are in like, with most of these beat 'em ups, you're busting up crates or barrels, mostly barrels, which is right out of Final Fight. But you're picking up little tributes to other Konami games. So one of which is the guy from Stinger, or Twinbee, Poppin' Twinbee. So that's really cool. Just see Konami kind of like showcase
little
their
in-jokes and stuff.
Yeah, in-jokes, and kind of like showcase the fact that they have a brand, and that's what we were talking about before in the last episode, that Konami needs to bring that back and kind of we have this mentality of, hey, we're not just a one-trick pony. We have all these great franchises that we're going to kind of pay tribute to throughout all our games, and Violent Storm does that really well.
Yeah, absolutely. The music for this stage, I think, is probably the most iconic in the whole game. It's like a full-on rap song. It's got full vocals. It's really, really fun to listen to. So we're gonna play that now, and we'll be back right after. This is called Feel My Power.
I'm gonna get you eventually. Everybody wanna knock Gildo down. I'll go straight to Sheena, and I'll be there, yes I will. This world is very difficult, but I've got nothing to lose now. There's no defeat, you'd sooner die. Challenge the beginning of the end. Till I rescue Sheena, I'm never gonna stop. Leave my power. Now I spend my time fighting all around. I'm a tough guy, man. You think you can beat us? We got the look, oh so fine. Just wait, I'll get even with you. Hey on! Get power. Check it out. Don't stop. Come on. Get down. I'm gonna get you eventually. Everybody wanna knock Gildo down. I'll go straight to Sheena, and I'll be there, yes I will. This world is very difficult, but I've got nothing to lose now. There's no defeat, you'd sooner die. Challenge the beginning of the end. Till I rescue Sheena, I'm never gonna stop. Leave my power. Now I spend my time fighting all around. I'm a tough guy, man. You think you can beat us? We got the look, oh so fine. Just wait, I'll get even with you. Hey on! Get power. Check it out. Don't stop. Come on. Get down.
Oh man, my head has been thoroughly synth-hitted.
Are you feeling its power?
I'm feeling it all around. Oh my. That track was Feel My Power, and I definitely feel it. It's just, the best way for me to put this track, it's like Michael Jackson's Dangerous album, but way more rappy.
Yeah, I can kind of feel that.
This like New Jack
with the background
swing.
Music,
Yeah, because it's got these like random throw-ins of guitar where it's just like,
Yeah.
Right, and then you've got the synth hits kind of going throughout the game, and then it just kind of breaks down after the rapping, and you've just got this like breakdown, this like cacophony of synth hits. It's like if you enjoyed the Turtles in Time soundtrack or any of the Ninja Turtles game where they threw these,
it's like every synth hit from the Ninja Turtles soundtrack all compressed into 15 seconds.
And like remixed together. It's like insane. So yeah, this track is just great.
Man, so I figured what we could do is go over these lyrics.
Oh boy.
And kind of figure out where the motivation comes from.
Oh, absolutely. I want to feel my power.
So
I feel my power.
I don't want to feel your power.
I feel my
power.
Totally
cool with that.
Yeah.
We'll leave that to your fiance. All right, so it starts off pretty simple. I'm gonna get you eventually. Everybody want to knock Geldo down. So Geldo, we haven't really talked about Geldo.
Yeah.
He is...
We talked about Red Freddy.
He's basically Red Freddy's boss.
Right.
And so he's not even mentioned in the game until the very, very end.
Right.
So the lyrics in this song wouldn't make much sense unless you knew the full story. So
right.
Red Freddy basically works for Geldo. Geldo kidnaps girls. Sheena happens to be one of those girls. That's
a profession?
That's Violent Storm in a nutshell.
Kidnapping girls is a profession?
It might be.
Apparently.
I don't know.
That's weird.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. So it keeps going on. I'll go straight to Sheena, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. It's very confident.
So this is all pretty straightforward.
This world is very difficult. So I don't know. I guess it depends on what setting the arcade is, the difficulty setting it's on.
This world is very difficult. It's very like what's the best way to put it?
It's like a generic motivational saying.
Yeah. It's like do your best with honor.
Yes,
like,
exactly. But I've got nothing to lose now, except maybe some quarters.
Yeah, true.
There's no defeat. You'd sooner die. Now, shouldn't that be I'd sooner die? Like, I would sooner die than to, let these things happen. So there's a little bit of...
Maybe they're talking about you as the player in the game?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Possibly. It's a good kind of second-person deal going on there.
Okay.
So as we go through the song, it starts to kind of like the language barrier starts to show a little bit. Challenge the beginning of the end.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Explain that one to me then.
Challenge the beginning of the end?
Yes.
Well, you're challenging the beginning of the game. So you're starting out, you're like, I'm gonna beat you, game. And as far as of the end, well, that's when you have to put in more quarters because your quarter run has ended.
So challenge the beginning of the game until you run out of quarters.
Which is of the end.
We can go with that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Until I rescue Sheena, I'm never gonna stop. Okay, that makes sense. And then there's that little like echoey voice thing off in the, like that backup dude. And I think he says "Feel My Power." That's the name of the song. But it also sounds like "Bleed My Power."
Okay.
So I don't know exactly what he's saying.
It means like bleed
We'll go
more
with "Feel"
quarters.
because it's the title of the song.
Yeah.
Now I spend my time fighting all around.
Okay.
Just kind of walks around punching people. Maybe that's how he got himself into this mess.
That's kind of how the game goes.
Wade's got anger issues.
Yeah.
You know. I'm a tough guy. Do it, man. So that's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
You think you can beat us? We got the look. Oh, so fine.
So 90s.
So 90s. And it kind of, goes along with the whole metamorphic force thing where your appearance is very important to you.
Right.
Even though you're fighting, you could be all bruised up and stuff, but you got the look, man.
If I was dressed like Boris, I'd be concerned about my looks.
Yeah. And then there's the voice in the background that shouts, I think he says, "Bring it on."
Okay.
Although he could say "ring a gong."
Maybe he was just talking about
"You're a dong" or something. I don't know.
Maybe that's his favorite movie. Bring It On. Yeah.
Yeah. He looked into the future and saw what was going on.
Yeah.
Then there's that epic breakdown.
Yes.
And then get power, check it out, don't stop, come on, get down. Just fairly generic New Jack Swing.
This won a Grammy, right? This game soundtrack?
Grammy, an Emmy, and a Tony.
Oh, really?
Actually, it was actually quite impressive.
That's impressive.
Yes. So I have a surprise.
Oh boy.
So imagine an alternate reality.
Okay.
In which Kids Bop does video game music.
Oh my god. I already am afraid of this.
So what I did was I got Eddie and Logan, my kids, to do a karaoke version of "Feel My Power."
Oh boy.
And we're gonna play that right now.
Alrighty.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm gonna get you eventually. Everybody wanna knock Geldo down. I'll go straight to Sheena. And I'll be there, yes I will. This world is very difficult, but I've got nothing to lose now. There's no defeat, you sooner die. Challenge the beginning of the end. Until I rescue Sheena, I'm never gonna stop.
Feel my power.
Now I spend my time fighting all around. I'm a tough guy.
Do it, man.
You think you can beat us? We got the look, oh so fine. Just wait, I'll get even with you.
Bring it on.
Epic breakdown. Get power! Check it out. Don't stop.
Come on, get down.
That was pretty great.
So that was 9-year-old Eddie and 4-year-old Logan. Eddie, obviously, we did the PixelTunes Jr. episode together. If you guys haven't heard that, go take a look back, because he's a big gamer himself. We're actually working on a new episode together based on the Fallout series, so that'll be fun. That'll be coming up in a little while.
That's cool.
And so, man, editing that together was a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
but now I've memorized all the lyrics to that song, so I might put up some outtakes on our Facebook group of trying to get these guys to sing the lyrics properly.
Oh my. That'll be very silly.
Anyways, so let's talk a little bit about the composers. First guy up is Kenichiro Fukui. Very big name in video game composition, because he started off with Konami. He did sound effects for Sunset Riders in '91, and then went on to compose Lethal Enforcers and G.I. Joe, both for the arcade in '92. Violent Storm was in '93. He kind of bowed out for a little bit, but then joined Square Enix and ended up doing Einhander, which had a fantastic techno soundtrack in '97. He did All-Star Pro Wrestling with Tsuyoshi Sekito and Kumi Tanioka in 2000, and came back for All-Star Pro Wrestling 3 in 2003. Now, around this time, he started hanging out with Nobuo Uematsu.
Okay.
And so he, with Tsuyoshi Sekito, did some rock arrangements of some of Uematsu's previous work, knowing that Uematsu was kind of into rock music as well as classical music.
Right.
Uematsu was impressed. He ended up forming the Black Mages along with Fukui. So he's a founding member of the Black Mages. He put out 3 video game rock albums with Uematsu. And then when Uematsu went and started to form the Earthbound Puppets, he didn't join up with them. But so Fukui's got, a huge history with Square and Konami, and you can definitely tell his prowess with music. He's extremely good at composition.
Absolutely.
So his most recent composition was Lord of Arcana in 2010.
It was a PSP game.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's also arranged music for Final Fantasy XII, Final Fantasy IV for the DS, Otomedia is Gorgeous, Otomedia is Excellent. He arranged the soundtrack for Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Okay. So he's got a lot of really cool stuff.
Very cool.
And also worked on a lot of other arrangement albums from Konami, like Death Smiles and Hoshino Kashu and stuff like that. So he just appears all over the place, both at Konami and Square.
Mostly very Japanese soundtracks.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from, and I can almost kind of tell, like, that 50s rock from the On the Train stage is very similar to, like, the ending theme from Rad Racer, or a lot of the other early Uematsu works, which are very 50s American rock inspired. So that might have almost been like an homage to some of Uematsu's earlier work.
Yeah, Uematsu has always kind of remained pretty steady in the 50s, 60s, 70s.
When he's going for the rock aesthetic.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Obviously Final Fantasy composition is more, your traditional classical music, but he's always really appreciated that era of American rock.
True story.
Really cool. So let's talk a little bit about this level. So once Feel My Power ends, the music kind of switches over mid-level.
Right.
You're fighting through the bar and you get to a stage that's in the middle of the bar. And so out pops this lady, and so she starts dancing.
Doing the belly dance thing.
Really rich kind of Middle Eastern theme starts playing. And she's got a little cat next to her, a little cute kitty cat, and they're dancing together.
Kitty cat.
The music is timed, so you're kind of fighting a bunch of enemies in front of her while she's going through like her dance animations. And the music is timed, so basically just as you're done beating the enemies and moving on, the music kind of record scratches and turns into the, like, I guess, stage 3, part two themes. So you fight your way through the rest of the bar, you end up at a door, and then you end up in this kind of gross kitchen.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
So it's kind of like greenish, and there's like cooks in the background, but they're all like disheveled and wearing ripped clothing, and like there's a guy with no shirt on, like just like staring at you wide-eyed as you're beating all these dudes up. You pass like a hole in the wall, and all these white mice come pouring out. So it's like not a restaurant I'd want to eat at any time soon. And then you get into the back room, and that little kitty is like jumping and pouncing on the mouse, and they're kind of like playing together while you're fighting. So there's like a little animal backstory going on behind this whole fighting thing as you're playing through the game.
I'm entertained.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just want to keep throwing quarters in just so you can see what happens to these animals.
That's the real reason. Why?
Forget about Sheena.
Yeah.
I just want to hang out with the animals.
Yeah. You would.
I would. And then there's like a page ripped right out of Final Fight. So basically you get to the end of the kitchen area, and Red Freddy appears. And what does he say? Wake up, dude.
Yeah, wake up, dude.
Wake up, dude. And then you realize you're standing on a trap door.
Right.
And so you fall into a cage with a wrestler.
Yeah, it's basically the entire level is level 3
from Final Fight.
From Final Fight,
yeah,
just in reverse, sort of.
Yeah, so you fight Drigger, and so he's it kind of looks like a fat Zangief wearing a bull skull.
Yeah.
On his head, and so you kick the crap out of him. He's kind of easy, but he's got some wrestling moves and some slams that do take a lot of energy.
He's no Andor.
Out of you. No, he's no Andor at all.
No.
At all.
He's not even Grandpa Andor.
G Andor?
Yeah.
They're all about the same strength. I always wonder that. There's like Andor Jr. and Andor and Grandpa Andor, but they're all identical in power.
What are you calling him, Andre?
Andor.
Andore? I always call him Andor.
Because that's like the Japanese, because he's Andre the Giant.
Oh,
the Japanese would pronounce it Andore.
Andore.
So it's Andore.
No, it's Andor.
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 Like the moons of Andor.
Yes.
Anyway, so let's get on with the music. So this is the music that plays while Shalala is dancing in the background. So it's the Middle Eastern part.
You say Shalala?
It's her name.
No, it's got R's.
Sha-ra-ra is the...
Sha-la-la. Yeah.
So it's English. So it's called Sha-la-la or Sha-ra-ra's dancing. Then you'll hear the transition into Light Steps, which is the level
second
music.
part of third stage. Yeah.
And we'll be back to talk about that when the song ends.
Man, I am danced out after those light steps from Sharara.
Well, no, it's Sharara's dancing, and then it transitions into light steps. So it's basically like a twofer. There's two songs in one. So yeah, as I said before,
it's a twofer.
The Middle Eastern part is where she's dancing, and then as you beat the guys, when you start walking, then it transitions into light steps, which is like, you know,
gives this cool little DJ scratch, and then it's just straight up
Boys to Men, ABC,
BBD. Totally New Jack Swing here.
Yeah, and fun too.
Oh yeah,
just a lot of cool stuff to, you know.
Here's the thing about this song, though. I don't picture it in the level that it's in. So I picture this...
Oh, the kitchen area? Yeah, I know.
It doesn't really fit.
No.
I'm not saying it's a bad track. It's a great track, but it just kind of feels out of place here.
I would like to hear really cheesy lyrics about, like, hamburgers and steak.
Okay.
Maybe for a kitchen area.
Yeah. Okay.
Likening, I don't know, fighting with knives and forks and sporks and spoons and I don't know.
I spoon steak.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Burgers.
Burgers I ate.
I want a burger and a hot dog rare.
Yeah. I spoon steak.
You spoon steak.
I spoon steak.
You wash your sheets often?
Burgers ate.
But, so yes, Light Steps, it's probably one of my favorite songs. It's got that really good keyboard lead. It doesn't have any vocals in it at all, which is kind of, it's weird to be saying, but it's rare for a song in this game to not have some vocals in it.
Right, true.
So the melody really takes care of the whole song. So it's kind of unique in that way, but it's still really, really listenable.
Yeah.
So after this, you go into an industrial zone. We're not going to play the track for that one. And this just for the sake of keeping the podcast at a decent length.
It's not...
it doesn't feel like the rest of the songs on this soundtrack.
Yeah, it feels very kind of bland.
And very mild.
Yeah, very kind of like...
We're going to put it on the Facebook group, so facebook.com/groups/PixelTunes Radio. If you want to hear some of the tracks that we didn't play from this game, you'll hear some of the boss tracks, and this track in particular, and maybe some of the other stuff. So you'll get some exclusive content on our Facebook group for that.
Yeah, so the next level that you go into is kind of like this botanical garden type area.
Yeah, it starts off in an outdoor park.
Yeah, and you kind of bust through and you're in this like whole area that looks kind of like the outdoors level from X-Men. Large plants and trees and stuff in the background. It's really cool looking.
I was going to say again, the Final Fight references. Like the last level of Final Fight when you're on the rooftops.
Right.
Getting into Belger's penthouse. You've got all the
outdoorsy,
and it feels like a Central Park location kind of deal. So you're fighting through, and then you finally see the conclusion of the animal story. There's the little dog and the cat that was dancing with Sharara, and the mice from the kitchen.
They're all there.
They're all playing together.
They're all friends. They're all best buds.
Met up through the journey of Wade, and
they met through Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just
they
Facebook
met at
friends.
facebook.com/groups/PixelTunes Radio
/pets.org. So, there's that story within a story. Just those little attentions to detail, of course. So, through the park, the park is actually really nice. It's probably the most colorful level in the game.
Absolutely.
You still see those kind of abandoned and decrepit buildings in the background, but everything closer to you is very nicely kept, and you can kind of tell that you're getting towards the last boss because things are getting nicer and a little less dilapidated as you get towards the center of the power.
Yes.
As you feel
his
power.
Now the song we're going to talk about when we come back from the break, but this track that we're about to listen to is a little song called We Are Free, and this is the Stage 5 level. We are free for all.
We are free from home.
We are free for all.
See? No. I don't know.
I don't know.
The problem with these kind of staticky voice samples is that it's hard to really tell what they're saying, especially because, I don't know, because it probably wasn't written by somebody who's a native English speaker anyway, so it could not make sense. So maybe I'm hearing what makes sense and you're hearing what it actually is, or vice versa.
I have no idea. Yeah. I mean, so the lyrics, as far as I can tell in this song, first off, the song is straight up just musically, I would say it's 90s-tastic. It's very new jack swing again.
It's the SNL intro theme from the 80s and 90s.
It's got this saxophone, just like, you know.
The sax solo is all, it's like what I remember hearing from SNL back then.
It's great. This is one of those circumstances where I would say that instrumentation for this song really works out. Because
totally.
The saxophone sounds like a real saxophone. It sounds great. But lyrically, yeah, this one's a confusing one. So, we are free for all is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
And then, let's get feeling high.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that one I agree
yeah.
with you.
And then they repeat it. They go, we are free for all. And then I hear, till the end, I'll not go down. And you're hearing something different.
It seems too proper English for me.
Really?
Well, I hear we are free from home.
Okay.
Let's get the feeling high. There's an extra syllable in there, I think.
Okay.
But whatever, that's mostly the same. And then they obviously repeat it. And then to the end, I'll knock you down.
Yeah, so you're hearing knock you down. Right, and I'm hearing not.
So either way makes sense. Because either saying he's not going to go down or he's going to knock them down. So
till the end, I'll not go down. That's no, I agree with you. That sounds very stiff.
It sounds very proper for a New Jack Swing R&B style song. To the end, I'll not go down.
7 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, Abe Lincoln's in that fight?
Yeah.
That would be sweet.
Oh, that'd be an awesome beat 'em up. Abe Lincoln fighting Confederates. That'd be so cool.
That would be cool. Civil War era.
Yeah. Oh my God. You play as Abe Lincoln and John Henry? Not from the same era, but that'd be kind of cool.
Or just characters from American history.
Yeah.
You know.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, they've done that kind of, like Project Steam is like an alternate.
Frederick Douglass.
Ben Franklin.
Sorry, for those non-Americans, we're having a very American history-ish moment.
Like Ben Franklin, like a special move. Like he could like send a kite up and then give it to the enemy and it would get electrocuted and it would like knock him down.
Abe Lincoln Abe Lincoln has to fight in the Civil War, and so he needs his buddies. So he calls upon the power, he time travels and calls upon the power of Thomas Jefferson,
Ben Franklin,
George Washington, and John Adams. This would be an amazing beat 'em up.
Maybe not John Adams. I can say.
Well, Thomas Jefferson had slaves.
Maybe like Roosevelt.
So
Roosevelt was a badass.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that'd be awesome, and he could turn into a bear. Now we're getting too metamorphic force on this one. But
who is Roosevelt? Paris Roosevelt.
Oh my! So yeah, this song is great. It's one of my favorite songs on the soundtrack. To be honest, the lyrics are just so goofy.
It almost feels like a reprise of Who'll Be the Hero. It's got a very similar style to that. Like they could both be back-to-back songs on an album or something.
Word.
And it's funny because I wrote in my show notes here, complete with unintelligible lyrics about knocking you down or something.
Yes,
so,
or something. Yes. Pretty much.
Definitely agree. I'll have to, because similar to you, because you were asking me before how I did the music for when Eddie and Logan did the
Kids
Feel
Bop.
My Power song, Kids Bop tune. I have a way to isolate the different tracks in the VGM player, so I can see if we can isolate the vocals out of this song. And maybe we'll post our findings on.
This is a true concern of mine. I need to know the lyrics.
It's true. I mean, I'm very curious too.
Yes.
And, isolating the lyrics, we might not get any closer, but
probably not.
Who knows?
Oh my.
It'd be fun to do anyway.
Yeah, no, it was a good song. I really like it.
All right, so stage 5, you fight Julius at the end.
Oh my God, this guy.
He's some sort of a Greek god, bodybuilder. You know,
you're fighting in front of...
you know, the bodybuilder, shoot him up.
Right.
Very similar to that kind of deal.
There's a lot of really weird homoerotic, like... things going on in this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of fanciness going on. I would say flamboyancy.
Right.
But that was kind of like okay.
Yeah.
Like hard gay was very popular in Japan around like the early and mid 90s.
Hard
so that
gay?
style.
That's a thing.
Hard gay. He was a guy. Yeah, he was like a
bodybuilding
talk show personality kind of guy.
Okay.
He would go interview people on the streets, but he would always be like dressed up in like quasi bondage gear with a black hat and like leather vest and stuff like that.
Interesting.
And he was hard gay, but that style became very popular with both straight and gay people in Japan at the time. So it was kind of a cultural thing. So
that is hilarious.
Maybe that had some influence on this game because it kind of seems to feel like it fits in with that whole
There's
motif.
a lot of beat 'em ups that use that. I mean, Streets of Rage does it too.
Yeah, so. And they were all early to mid 90s games, so it was probably a very cultural thing.
That's wacky. That's silly. It's silly and wacky.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's fun.
Yeah. But yeah, so you're fighting in front of what looks to be the White House.
Or half of the White House.
Or half of the White House.
It's like half destroyed.
No idea.
So anyways, Julius comes out. His opening little quote is, "Beauty is justice." And then, so Red Freddy touches a statue of Julius, and the statue comes alive, and then he fights you, and he's doing bodybuilding moves and like flexing his pecs and like flexing his biceps and punches you at the same time that he's flexing. And so you finally, beat his narcissistic butt into submission. He turns back into a statue, and then you go on towards stage 6. This is a dock area. I kind of feel like the developers were maybe a little lazy with this stage. What do you think?
And well, it doesn't have the graphical prowess that the rest of the game has.
Yeah.
It's very much just, it's pretty to look at, but it's not like, it's just very bland.
Yeah, there's some water in the background, and there's some remains of huge ships that are like just kind of like their tips are just sticking out.
Yeah, just kind of very stagnant looking, no real animation in the background.
And then once in a while, some boats will like come up and just go across the background, and they will like dock and stop, and a couple enemies will drop off, or there'd be some people with animations cheering you on as you walk through the stage.
Yeah.
I wasn't too impressed with this particular level. It didn't really offer anything new above or beyond what the other levels had. So once you get past the water area, you end up on kind of like a freight loading area where there's some like metal scaffolding behind you.
Right.
And there's like black and white stripes all over the ground, like where they would load a big ship.
Kind of looks like in Final Fight, the level when you fight Rolento.
Yeah, very similar to that.
Yeah.
And then you fight Sledge.
Yes.
Who is not a Ninja Turtle.
It's like, he has all this iron equipment on. Like,
he's got a wok. He has a wok strapped to his chest.
That's right.
And he's holding a wok as a weapon and a shield at the same time. And he's got a purple bandana over his head, all the way over his head, with his eyes cut out. So
very Ninja Turtles-esque.
Looks very much like a Ninja Turtle.
Yes.
So, you fight him, who's not a Ninja Turtle, and doesn't fight like a Ninja Turtle.
No, not at all.
And then you finally make your way onto stage 7. But before we get there, the background music is called Hey Hey Hey. It's total surf rock, Beach Boys motif. Really fun to listen to, so let's get into that one.
Let's listen to that.
Hit it, Michael.
Man, I feel like I just got a tan listening to that song.
Isn't it crazy?
It is. It's good.
I noticed that the saxophone solos in the past couple songs sound a lot better than it did in the train song, level 2. Like, it sounded really artificial in that first song. I wonder if they were composed in order of the game and that they just kind of learn how to better emulate a saxophone solo as they went on, because they're using the same instrument,
right?
But the pitch bends and the timbre of the instruments just sound a lot more accurate to what a real saxophone sounds like in this song versus the earlier one.
I think the drums feel kind of flat on this song in particular. They just kind of are there. I mean, they sound realistic, but they're very quiet and they're very flat sounding.
Surf rock really didn't concentrate. It was very, melody focused.
Right. There wasn't a lot of emphasis on drums.
Right, and with the organ and the guitar following the same kind of lead melody, and then the saxophones coming in, the little bop-bop vocals in the background. I mean, I think beefing up the drums in this song would probably just make it feel too busy.
Right, too heavy sounding.
So, I'm not... I think it was more of a design choice to keep the drums a little flat.
Probably.
Just to bring everything else out into the open.
No, I'm with you. Word. Yeah, so...
I think, we've gotten this far into the podcast, and we haven't even talked about the second composer yet.
Right.
He was Seiichi Fukami, and I guess best known to us for composing being one of the composers, I think the lead composer on the X-Men arcade soundtrack.
Okay.
But he also did some other games in the Gradius series, like Gradius 2, Gradius 4. He worked on Zezik's
NES game.
Yeah. He arranged the commercial arranged retail version for that. So which I didn't even know existed. Now I want to see it because that's got a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Worked on Thundercross, which is also, I think, an arcade only shoot 'em up.
Yeah.
It's very similar in style to Gradius, but it's a little more bullet hellish, I guess.
Okay.
More so than Gradius is.
Right.
It was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's basically the stuff that he's done.
Okay. You probably brought more in terms of the more dancey stuff.
Yeah, and kind of gave Konami that whole like orchestra hit feel. I think he really kind of developed that.
Yeah, and I'd say probably the more rock-based tracks were probably the other composer.
Yeah, I agree.
Makes sense.
Cool, we actually agree on something.
Yay!
Mark it on your calendars, boys and girls.
That's right.
So after Hey Hey Hey, you end up in stage 7.
Right.
Which you might confuse with the last stage from Final Fight.
Total rip-off.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's more like an homage.
The red carpet on the ground.
And the glass cases with everything in the background.
And even, so you're going through each stage, right? And this is something we've been meaning to talk about. Each stage, when you finish it, there's a little map that comes out right out of Final Fight, and it kind of moves you, like Final Fight Ghouls and Ghosts style, moves you to the next area, and then you go to that stage. And so with this one, you're going to the museum. It's the best kept level out of all the levels. So everything else looks really decrepit.
It's like across the street from the destroyed White House.
Right, apparently. So you're in this museum, and you're going through, and you're breaking everything, and I don't think any chandeliers fall, though.
No chandeliers fall, but
there's an elevator.
Statues and stuff.
Yeah, if I recall, there's an elevator that goes down.
Well, once you fight through the mansion, you end up in like this dungeon area.
Right.
And just as you get into the dungeon, there's 2 enemy characters who are playing arcade games.
Yeah.
And the arcade games are called Penta and Scramble. So Penta for Pentaro, which is one of the Konami characters from Parodius.
Right.
And then Scramble was a really old Konami shooter too. So they're active animated arcade machines, and you can see like the little sprites moving on the screens and everything, and you can beat there's like 3 or 4 levels of damage that you can punch these arcade machines before they finally get destroyed.
Penta was the penguin, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Taro the penguin. So then you come across a cell, like a prison cell, full of ladies, which is how I kind of gathered that Gildo was kidnapping. Like, Sheena wasn't the only one that was being kidnapped.
Right.
So you fight to this cell, and there's all these like young girls hanging out in this cell in the background.
I got it.
What?
I figured it out. How to cross this game over with Zelda.
Okay.
So Gildo is kidnapping girls to then give to Aghanim. I think, what did I call him? No, I know that's what
you were calling him Aghanim.
Aghanim, or Aghanim, whatever. Anyways, gives the girls to Aghanim, and then he sends them to the Dark World.
Okay.
That's how it goes down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I just
that.
totally
So
crossbred those two games.
Legend of Violence Storm.
Yes. Legend of Violence.
Who'll be the Hylian hero?
I want to hear that song.
That would be cool.
That'd be awesome.
We'll do a parody.
Yes.
So anyways, you crack the lock off the door, you know, you just punch it off, the door opens, and the girls just stand there. They don't move. They're like, they don't even say thanks for freeing us.
Well, they're so hungry.
I guess.
I mean, if you had brought cheeseburgers, I think they'd be ecstatic.
You do pick up several items of food.
Yeah.
I mean,
where are you putting all that?
Toss a football on them and see if they can turn it back into some bacon. Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anywho, so you pass the stay, or you pass the prison cell with no sign of gratitude whatsoever.
Right.
You finally get to Red Freddy, and he taunts you, and then you fight him upstairs. He goes up a big staircase, and you start fighting Red Freddy, and he's really annoying and dumb.
Yeah.
He's just there's nothing special about him.
Right.
I was expecting him to be the final boss,
but he's not.
He just kind of runs around the stage and punches you a bunch of times, and you finally beat him, and then you pass him and get to this big throne where Geldo is sitting, and you're like, oh, now I get it. Now I understand the lyrics from the song. And so Geldo's great. Do you remember what Geldo looks like?
Isn't he?
He's like purple.
Yeah.
And he looks exactly like Akira.
Right.
From Akira, the manga and the movie.
Yeah.
He's got like a tattered cape, and he's like a younger kid, and then he mutates into this giant hulking muscular dude.
Kind of like Cadillacs and dinosaurs. A little bit, as far as the mutation, or even metamorphic force.
Yeah. Actually, the mutation animation is pretty cool to watch. But you can tell that like his arms and his legs have been like stitched together. They're slightly different color than the rest of his body. And then he's kind of a pain in the neck because he's got this glowing green power that he'll pound the ground and bounce you off.
Right.
He's really, really hard to get a hit in on. But then when you finally beat him, he screams for his mommy.
It's true.
Yeah.
He actually does.
He goes, Mama! And then blows up.
And then that's it. And that's the game.
That's the game.
But we're going to play 2 tracks. One is for the last stage, which I guess you could say stage 7 or the final stage. And then we're going to transition into fighting Geldo, the last stage boss.
Yeah, both are very worthy of listening to, so let's listen to Stage 7 and versus Geldo.
Check it out. All right, welcome back. That was the final technique, and then the second song was versus, what's his name? Geldo?
Geldo.
Geldo.
G-E-L-D-O.
That's right. So that first track, I would say, is probably one of my favorites, actually.
It's funny because that was the one that I wasn't gonna put in the...
Yeah, I really like the saxophone in this track. As we were saying before, the saxophone kind of gets better as the game goes on.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But these notes all sound really good together.
Very jazzy,
right?
Kind of song with like hi-hats in the background.
So it's got this weird mix of jazz, and then it's got, you know, like these really strong like power chords, dun 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 dun. You know, just like really cool. Then it's got this like almost slap bass kind of funky sound to it.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's got a lot of variety in one track, along with the whole keyboard sound to it as well. You've got this keyboard kind of playing in the background, kind of. It's not slow paced, but it's kind of just fitting the mood. It's filling in the gaps where the little random solos kind of come in and do their thing. So
it's a great track, but at the same time, I don't know if it's the kind of track that I would play in like the last stage of a game.
I agree with you there.
You know?
Yeah,
it's good in its own right, but I don't know. And I guess it fits with the decor of this level, like the mansion and all that.
Sure.
But I would expect maybe something a little more intense and suspenseful.
Right.
For this. Maybe that's why I didn't originally pick it for the show, because that was more my feeling about it.
Right.
But yeah, listening to it outside of the game, it's definitely a quality song.
Right. Yeah, I think it would have probably fit better in the forest, maybe.
Yeah.
Or the park, like the park area.
Right. One of those
forest.
Kind of more calm areas. Right. So after that is the versus Geldo song. So Geldo, you know, blows up into this huge dude and destroys the whole building around him. So you're basically fighting amongst ruins, and there's clouds flying around. And this song is really, really intense. This is what I imagine a final boss song
absolutely.
sound like.
And they've got these amazing synth hits that just scream Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's true. And although neither one of these composers worked on the Ninja Turtles games, we will play, you know, some of the boss music, or put some of the boss music up on the Facebook group, and you'll hear that they do sound very Turtles in Time-esque.
Yes.
Very, very similar to that kind of era. And you know, Sunset Riders sounded a lot like that, and Fukami did work at least on sound effects on Sunset Riders, so I assume he was, you know, around the sound design department for that game. So he probably got some of that influence from there.
But it's weird because the synth hits make up almost the entire song at points.
Which is why I love it so much.
Oh, absolutely. You've got these big booming drums along with these great synth hits. It's a great combination of sound.
Just hits me in all the right places.
Oh yeah. It makes you feel your power.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel my power every day.
Nice. Gross. Nice and gross.
I feel my power in the justice.
So you beat Geldo, and that's the end of the game. Also, did you notice when you first start off, when Geldo metamorphosized from this like high-pitched kid, teenager kid type character to this like big hulking mass? Did you see Red Freddy go by in the distance when the castle blows up?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he just like kind of in the background just like wah, like kind of
awesome.
Yeah, it's
like
really
he's like flying from the blast.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a nice little touch that I noticed.
Yeah, no, it would be fun if there was a sequel to this game and like, you know, he survives and you have to fight him again or something like that.
That would be pretty wacky.
So now what we're gonna play is, we're getting towards the end of the show. This is the name entry screen, which we couldn't not play on this show because it's totally awesome. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about it when we get back.
Nice fight. Congratulations. You made it very well. You've done a great job. Okay, please register your name. 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations!
You made it very well.
You've made it very well.
I love this song.
I love the bass, just like funky.
I just love the vocals, man.
Oh yeah, no, so ridiculous.
Come on, register your name. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Do you have to rap about you putting your name in at the end of the game?
Yeah, no, I think more games should do that.
Every game
should have a rap song.
Like the DK rap should just continue throughout the entire Donkey Kong 64 game.
Probably would have made the game better.
Yes.
Honestly.
Absolutely.
So good. Yeah, so this is where you enter your name in, and the game's pretty much wrapping up, and then I guess we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got to talk about what happens at the end.
Well, at the end, they'll kind of drive off into the sunset. I like how...
First off, if you're playing multiplayer,
right,
whoever gets the last hit in on Geldo
gets the...
Sheena goes and hugs and kisses that person.
And she's like, I knew you would rescue me. Let's get out of here.
Which is weird, because up to this point, it's like usually you're rescuing your girlfriend, or you're rescuing your wife, or the princess, or blah, 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 blah. We have no idea what the relationship is between these three heroes and Sheena, because all for we know, they're hanging out at their car, she gets kidnapped in front of them.
Right.
So they're just doing this chivalrous thing to go get her back.
Not sexist.
Well, when somebody gets kidnapped, I mean, Sheena could have been a dude. I mean, we don't know.
Oh, that would make sense for this game.
Theoretically, if a dude was kidnapped in front of them, I think that these three guys, being the good guys that they are, would have gone and rescued anybody that they saw kidnapped in front of them. Not necessarily just a girl or a girl or whatever.
Right.
So anyways, you don't know if like the person who gets the last hit in on Geldo gets to be Sheena's boyfriend, or if they were originally a couple to begin with,
Right.
It's just interesting how the mechanic at the end of the game works.
Very true.
Both people fought through like 7 stages to get to her, to rescue her, and she chooses who she wants to be with based on who got the last punch of the last fight.
Yeah, it's not like Final Fight where it's, in the story that Cody's girlfriend is Jessica.
Right.
Or... Yeah, I would
her daughter is Jessica.
Right. It's more
relationship there.
It's more akin to, I would say, Turtles, where when you rescue April, she kisses whoever got the last hit.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so Michelangelo, who I always played as, usually gets the kiss because let's face it, April and Mikey had a thing.
It's true.
Yeah,
surf dudes always get the chicks.
I'm telling you. So you drive off into the sunset in this Cadillac, which it's right out of Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
The ending is very similar. Yeah, it's car driving.
Exactly. Except the music here is way more energetic.
Yeah, it's a definitely more energetic reprise of Who'll Be the Hero. This one is called Are You Ready to Have a Good Time?
That's right.
And you're just driving along. They're standing up in the back of the car for some reason as they're driving.
Why not?
Across the sunset.
Listen, when you've traveled across entire distances just to rescue some chick, why not?
I guess so.
Why not stand up in the middle of the car?
Just now that you've vanquished the evil, I guess, that was oppressing post-World War III
females.
Washington, D.C., question mark?
Yeah. I don't know.
So they've just saved the world and saved the day and
goofy.
Got the girl.
Very goofy game. I love it.
That's the end. Yeah.
That's the end of it.
It's a fun game. It is a really fun game. Definitely worth playing.
Play both of these games. They're both fantastic.
Yeah.
Totally worth your time to put in. I mean, they'll take you maybe a little over a half an hour to beat, but totally worth it. Really great music, really great gameplay. Just
especially if you can get a bunch of friends together to play at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah, play them back to back if you can, or hey, play it on the arcade if you got it.
Oh,
I wish.
Would be nice.
Super cool.
They're opening a barcade in our town pretty soon.
That's true.
So maybe they'll have like a little questionnaire about what games we'd like to see there. I'll put these 2 machines on the list.
I would totally play these in an arcade, drinking beer.
And arcading at the same time.
Yes, but I would need to have some kind of headphones because I'm not going to be able to hear the awesome music that these games have.
Yeah, we'll have to get friendly with the owners and then just tell them, all right, pump up the volume on these only while we're playing them.
Yes, absolutely.
So that does it for our show today. Remember, you can always check us out on our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/PixelTunes We're also very active on Twitter. Give us a tweet at PixelTunes Radio, no punctuation.
You got it.
There. Check Mike out on his channel on YouTube at youtube.com/dongled.
That's right. You can check out that, and dude, you haven't played this game, and any other rants and raves that we have here.
Please be sure to rate us on iTunes if you haven't yet. We'd love to hear what you think about the show.
Yeah.
And the more ratings we get, the more visible we are, the more fans we get, the more cool stuff we can do.
Absolutely.
And what else? Stuff.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Yes.
Oh, also, we welcome your comments at pixeltunesradio.com. You can go there, see the full track list, so that's where we post all the show information. We also have both the YouTube stream there and a direct link where you can download the MP3 of our podcast if you don't go through iTunes or Stitcher or Double Twist or however you get your podcast feed.
That's right.
And so we also welcome and respond to comments on pixeltunesradio.com. So in 1 week, I guess, right? Yeah. 1 week is our extra special listener request episode. So we've picked 12 of the finest tracks from the 20-odd submissions that we've gotten from our listeners and fans.
And we've taken the names out to make it so that we don't necessarily play favorites. We want to base it on the tracks themselves.
Yeah, we're being very unbiased about this. And so we will reach out to those people, or we've already reached out to those people, and we'll have them, submit some content of their own regarding the songs that they chose. It's going to be a really good episode. So we'll see you guys in 1 week at Pixel Tunes Radio.
Oh yeah.
Peace out, chillin'.